And
Break
my
down
biggest
break
winner.
down my biggest winner is Purdue. Oh, yours is
Mine's
Iowa.
Iowa. I don't even
Wow.
have Purdue on my list. I don't even have Purdue on my list
Wow.
because, like, Braden Smith wasn't going anywhere. I don't understand. Well, like, what was the thought? Yes, they're winners, but like Braden Smith wasn't going anywhere. He wasn't leaving Purdue, and yeah, they lost a couple guys, Rob. So I'm not putting Purdue on that list. I'm putting Iowa because not only did they get arguably the second best point guard in the country in Bennett Sturts to come with Ben McCollum, but they got Ben McCollum in the offseason. So they got an elite coach. They got an incredible point guard. They went and got a shooter around him, and former Villanova, former Kansas State shooter Brendan Howson. They grabbed Robert Morris, transfer and NEC Player of the Year, Alvaro. I can't pronounce his last name.
Fulgaris.
And then they got Tavion Banks and Cam Mania. I always screw up his last name too. I'm in off-season mode right now.
Cam.
Right, coming over from Drake too. So I think Iowa is a fringe preseason top 25 team. They have as good a point guard as there is not named Braden Smith, shooters around them, and they're in business, and they've got a coach that you can build around for years. So Iowa, to me, the biggest winner because it could have went way wrong. It could have went bad, Rob, like really bad for Iowa. And instead, they are relevant.
Yeah, I don't hate the logic there. I don't have them as one of my top 10. I don't hate the logic there. I have Purdue number 1. Look, but we talked about it earlier, right? One of the things that you have to prioritize when you're talking about winners and losers of the offseason, I think, is continuity and who are you bringing back and how many players do you have that are going to know, like, where the best place to eat is in that town that they're in on the first day of practice, right? And I don't think anybody had better continuity this offseason than Purdue. They added Oscar Clough. They added Liam Murphy. They got the Israeli point guard, Oscar Meyer. I know his name's not Oscar. I'm just making a joke there. But you also bring back 2 All-Americans, right? And one of them, I think it's safe to say everybody's heard it at this point. Like, there were plenty of rumors of Braden Smith kind of maybe, peeking on the other side of the fence, seeing if the grass is greener over there during the offseason. So they got back Braden Smith, who might be the National Player of the Year in the preseason. They got back Trey Kaufman-Renn. They got back Fletcher Lawyer. They added Oscar Clough. I think that they're the preseason number 1 team, and I don't know how you can do much better than that. The rest of my top 10, I had Michigan number 2. I think the getting Yaxel Lindenberg back, that is as big of a win as anybody had in the last month, right? As more important than adding any of these transfers, more important than adding any of these freshmen. Like, I think that he was as big of a get as anybody had. It's funny. I did my preseason top 25 last week, Jeff, and out of everything in that ranking, you know what I heard the most back about? Like, how can you have Michigan outside the top 10? I had them 11. And it got a lot of Michigan fans fired up. I think that the level of expectation Dusty May has heading into that second season is going to be really, really high. And maybe, do I have like big blue blinders on or something like that? Like, what am I missing? I have them 11. Is that too low?
No, that's fair. I think we've both said we want to see how those pieces fit too, and if they've got enough shooting, because you're bringing in, a big in Merez Johnson. Not a shooter, not a floor spacer. Mara is not a floor spacer. Elliot Cadeau, their point guard, is not a floor spacer. So I just, that's my big concern. Do they have enough perimeter shooting for Michigan? So I would probably have them outside. I haven't done my top 25, but I'd probably have them somewhere in that 10 to 15 range as well.
All right. Trevor, sorry, if you could bring back up my top 10. So I have Purdue, Michigan, Houston, getting Milos Uzan back, and JoJo Tugler and Emmanuel Sharp. Obviously, they're a big winner. I thought Florida did as precise a work as you could have done in the portal, and they got Thomas Hawk and Alex Condon back. Kentucky for obvious reasons. Texas Tech brings JT Toppin back, who could have been a top 20 pick. Christian Anderson's still there.
Okay. Can I stop you? Let me stop you here. There's like a baffling omission and a team on there that you just said. I don't understand. Your favorite player in the country is who right now? Who's your favorite player in the country?
Are we going to go with Darian Williams?
Yeah. He's your favorite player. You've talked about him like ad nauseum all offseason. Texas Tech lost them, and you have them somehow as a winner in this whole shenanigans. And NC State gets them, and also they get Will Wade, and you do not have the Wolfpack in your top 10 winners. I don't understand. Start with NC State because they are absolutely have to be a top 10 winner. They got an elite level coach, and they got Darren Williams, your guy, Trey Holloman, a veteran, tough point guard. Terrence Arsenault comes from a Houston program where again, he was a top 50 player coming out of high school. He just couldn't really get in that starting lineup because of all the talent ahead of him. Alan Breed, he brings with him. Kadir Copeland, he brings with him from McNeese. They just got Van Allen Lubin yesterday, a good piece coming off the bench, probably up front. How the hell can you not have NC State in your top 10 winners?
So I might have cheated a little bit putting this list together, Trevor. You can bring it back up. If you look at number 9, I have the ACC. So I wanted to find a way to be able to get
you're going to claim everybody. You're going to claim
no,
everybody.
I wanted to get it. There were 11 teams. I wanted to make sure that I got San Diego State on the list because I don't think we could do this without talking about them. And I didn't know who to cut between NC State and Louisville. So I just put the ACC overall. I might have cheated a little bit. But yes, NC State had a fantastic offseason. Like they stole a 5-man from North Carolina. You brought in Darren Williams. You add Trey Holloman, who is the perfect Will Wade guard. Alan Breed. I love what the NC State did. I love what Louisville did. Right. That's part of why I have them kind of meshed together. I think you also need to mention the fact that like Miami should once again be pretty relevant. I thought that Jay Lucas did a really good job building that thing out. You know, Virginia, we haven't talked anywhere near enough about what Tony Bennett has done. Like Virginia's going to be really good. You know,
Tony Bennett's done. Tony Bennett's retired. Tony Bennett's on a beach somewhere, hopefully.
Ryan, sorry, Ryan. We just ran your off the carousel this morning too. Sorry, Ryan. Ryan Odom has done this offseason. I think UVA is going to be back in the mix for top 25. I think the programs that the ACC needs to get right and get going, 3 of the 4 got going this offseason to me. Syracuse has not quite done it, but that's why I put the ACC
I actually think Syracuse has done okay. I think Syracuse has done okay. They kept J.J. Starling. Like, they've done okay. They're not, vintage Syracuse, but I think they'll take a step forward and could be an NCAA tournament team this year.
I really hope they don't take a step back because I don't know how much farther they can go. Anyone else on my list that you want to push back on? I do just want to call out San Diego State. They get Miles Bird back. They get Magoon Gwath back. We talked with
I have
Dutch.
I have Michigan. I have Houston. I have Florida. I have Kentucky. I have St. John's. I have those 5. Those 5 we have in common. I went with a couple others that you didn't have in there. I went with Texas. Again, Texas, I also included off-season winners. I also included the coach a little bit. Going from Rodney Terry to Sean Miller is a major, major, major upgrade. Brought in Cam Heide from Purdue, brought Dalen Swain with him, Simeon Wilcher, and he retained Tremont Mark, the Weaver kid, Jordan Pope, and then the big kid who I love from FAU, Modis, is a killer. I mean, an absolute killer, tough as shit. 5-man who just, plays tough. Sean will love him. Oklahoma is another one. Didn't make my list, but could have. UConn was like 11th or 12th for me. To me, it depends on what Alex Karaban you're going to get back. Honestly, we're rejoicing and Alex Karaban come back. And I love the kid to death. But which Alex Karaban are we going to get and how much help is around him? And you've got Silas Demery as like, I don't know, like the
number one pick. Number one pick.
He's like Jesus to you.
When you talk about when you have that conversation about who can be the next Michael Jordan, right? You start with Ant Edwards, and then you probably get to Silas Demery right after that. It's probably those 2. No, in all seriousness, I think the UConn staff this offseason was much more detailed and made much better decisions on who they targeted in the portal. They got Silas Demery, who I think is exactly what they needed the point guard spot. You add Malachi Smith, who I think is the perfect replacement for what you need off the bench where Hassan Diarra was. And they made sure to prioritize getting Solo Ball back, getting Terrace Reed back, and getting Alex Caravan back. And I think now, if you look at the way that their roster is kind of built, you add Braylon Mullins as well, and Caravan's going to end up being the fifth option offensively. And when he's the fifth option offensively, he is the best role player in college basketball. And to me, that is exactly what he needs to be able to thrive. I think what happened, I've said this over again, he got put in the wrong situation last year. It torpedoed his confidence, and it did not put him in the best situation for him to be the best player he can be. I think he will be that next year. So I'm very high on UConn. I will admit that I might be looking at this through Husky tinted glasses, but it kind of is what it is. So is there anyone else? I think that's all. We weren't that. I get where you are with Auburn. I get where you are with Texas. I think I agree with a lot of that as well. Let's go to biggest.
Put BYU on there. I wanted to put BYU on there because obviously they brought in AJ and they kept Richie Saunders and they got Rob Wright from Baylor. Oklahoma, I really wanted to put on there because I love their starting five. But again, it was hard. There are probably 15 teams that you're fighting for 10 spots, but not to have NC State. That cheating with Louisville, NC State. It's
because I wanted San Diego State on there. I wanted San Diego State on there, and I couldn't leave off any of those other teams. But like we talked to Dutch about this in February. Now he was already getting those conversations going, and I was like, "There's no way you're going to bring back all of these guys that you want to be able to bring back," and he did, man. Like Magoo is a game changer. Yes, I have been to San Diego. It's beautiful. Okay. It's wonderful. They have unbelievable beer. I did a beer tour there. It was the greatest day of my entire life. I had so many West Coast IPAs. I've never been that happy ever. No, but like I wanted to make sure specifically to shout them out, and I couldn't leave off any of those other teams. So I cheated. I cheated the system. I cheated the game. I'm sorry. I apologize. Trevor, don't yell at me.